Okay, that's really good. We are running out of time, and we have got a few minutes to go, but there's one thing that we have not touched. I'm particularly interested in the way you are responding very passionately and trying to back your arguments with the facts because of the fact that you are studying international relations, and that's really significant. But another thing that we need to talk about here is that the roles of Turkey in Africa, the Turkish role in Africa. Your thesis, your PhD thesis, is focusing on the roles and influence of China, which is very much an ally of Turkey, their roles, both of them, in Africa. What can you say about this? Are the roles of China and Turkey more of positive or negative towards the African continent?
I think, yeah, once again, there should be a change of narrative. Of course, in the past, there is colonial history. The Western world particularly dominated the history. And even now, it wants to continue with its domination. We call it post-colonial era, though they want to, and even African countries, unfortunately, they still follow parts of those colonial, past colonial masters. But I think there must be a change in narrative, like I mentioned, and I always say it. And when you look at the Turkey, why I'm very passionate about this current administration, it's the way it's trying its best to change, to bring this awakening, especially the current Turkish president. He has his famous trademark or famous saying, which is about the world is bigger than five. Yes, the world is bigger than five. If you look at the way how
by five, you're talking about the five.
This is what I'm going to
major
explain.
powers.
Exactly.
Okay,
if you look
good.
at the United Nations, the UN Security Council, all the decision, cycles, goes and back and forth within these five permanent members. The world is bigger than these five countries, and it's bigger than these five countries. You cannot say all the global challenges happening will be decided, the solution will be decided by these five nations. And unfortunately, we've seen time and again how the United Nations is failing. Many countries can't solve many challenges happening in the world today. So there must be a change of narrative. Particularly the United Nations needs reform. It needs to be reformed in the sense that other developing, fast developing, or those countries who are catching up, we call them the catching up countries. China is an example. I mean, it's developing at a very fast rate. Likewise, Turkey. So you've seen how they're also trying to showcase their soft power on African countries. Why I'm interested in these countries per se, China and Turkey, is the way how they are showcasing their soft power on African continents. So, of course, they don't have the historical, the bad historical image of the colonial past, but then they want to change the narrative to tell the people how they can, depend on their own without their past colonial masters. Be it Turkey. Turkey has never been to any African country to say that, I'm here to exploit you, or has never exploited any African country. Whatever Turkey is trying to call its African brothers and sisters is for a win-win relationship, a win-win relationship that both countries will benefit from the relation. It's never been a dumping ground in the sense that Turkey will export its finished goods and dump it on the African continent. No, it always calls its African allies to also bring something that they can either do it through trade or to exchange ideas, to brainstorm, to find a solution, especially to the two nations or to a global challenge. So this is the narrative I've always listened to the Turkish officials, particularly the current Turkish administration. Whenever it goes to African countries, it's emphasizing on win-win relationship, on the world is bigger than five, on a mutual collaboration and relationship.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. This is a really significant issue, to be honest with you. And then, like, what are you suggesting? are you suggesting that the African countries should focus, should like shift from the West to the East, mainly Turkey and China? What kind of benefits are they going to get, much more than the benefits that they claim to have gotten from the West, say the United States, the United Kingdom, and so on and so forth?
I think there's a fatigue. There's a fatigue, and the United Nations has always been a basic example to see this. These Western, particularly the Western countries, have failed the world. They have failed the global South. So I think it's time to change, position. It's time to also build relationship with other alternatives. And such an alternative, like I mentioned, Turkey is one of those countries who are trying to embrace peace, an orderly world which is about fairness, world that brings just to the people, a world which is fairer and a world which is conducive to live.
And less dependent on the West, dependent on the West?
I think because, there's a fatigue. This is what I think. There's a fatigue. Global South has always been dependent on the West. And until now, there hasn't been a concrete solution to the problem we are facing. I think it's not about who is going to lead the world. No, so I'm not saying Turkey or China or the Asian countries should lead. No, I'm not talking about leadership, but what I'm talking about is mutual collaboration. And Turkey has always emphasized on this, be it Turkey or even China. It's about mutual collaboration rather than who is going to be at the top, who is going to lead. Yeah. And so what the West has always done, has always done is to try to block that opportunity of working together. So it's better to work together than to say, oh, this country, or we're going to follow suit or follow the path of so-so country. So working together is better than asking somebody to lead.
Yeah. Doesn't it bother you to see African countries always trying to look for a superpower to depend on, to lean on? Let's say the United States, China, Russia, and now Turkey. Isn't it high time that we just become independent?
Yeah, theoretically, African countries are independent, but practically speaking, they are still under the guise of non-independent countries. The way they act, the way they do things, unfortunately, we can say they are still yet to realize that they are sovereign, independent countries. So, of course, they have to work independently with their own sovereignty. As a sovereign nation, you have your laws, your domestic laws, and international laws you apply always. And always, of course, the interest of the state matters. So the interest of the state matters. It's better for African countries. It's better for African countries to use their laws, their constitution to build their nations than depend on other Western, particularly Western constitution or Western orders to do things.
And Eastern orders now.
It's no more Eastern or Western. I think it's working together. So Turkey has never been a country to say, I'm going to give you an order to do things or give you this order. No, Turkey, as far as I know, Turkey always try to promote collaboration, try to promote independence, given those African countries, the spirit of, if you will, spirit of doing things independently rather than waiting for orders from their masters.
Yeah, that's really significant. On this note, I think we are drawing to the end of the program, but briefly, few things, briefly, apart from TRT World, which is your favorite international media?
I may not mention, I might not give name. Honestly, I cannot give name.
You can give, no problem. This is a free platform. You can give name.
It's a free platform, but I will always emphasize on the ethics, codes and conduct of journalism. As long as you are free to report on genuine stories, to especially get first-hand information. If you are able to be deployed, if you are able to reach out to those people, to speak with those people, irrespective of the name, I don't need to mention your name. As long as you are happy, exactly, this is very important. As long as you have the rights, especially the opportunity to reach out to the audience, to get the right response you want. If you're happy with the job, it doesn't matter about the company. So be it TRT World or be it another media outlets, as long as they give you those opportunities, you want to be deployed to a social place and they give you the right to be deployed and reach out to those people. So I think it's the right place, it's the right profession to choose.
Okay, Muhammad Abdusalam Yakase, my friend, wrote a comment and sent it to me. He says, and I quote, TRT World is now like a school to me. I don't know how, but it turns out to be my only international media icon. I watch it almost, I watch almost all of its programs and news programs. Storyteller is my favorite, as he says, his favorite program there. And he says, I like the documentary scenes, I like reality. What can you say to Muhammad?
Yeah, you see, this is one of our audience. I don't know Muhammad Abdusalam, you said. So I don't know him. I have never met him, and I have never imposed any propaganda or any something against his will, right? So it's his own choice, and he has the choice to also express himself. This is one of our audience. We're grateful to hear such comments from our audiences, and this indeed give us the enthusiasm. It increases our there's flexibility. It increases our
motivation
strength,
and confidence.
It motivates us and give us much more confidence to do the right thing, to deliver the right message to our audiences.
Thank you very much indeed for this wonderful response. And personally, the Newsmakers is my favorite program. Of course, I like it.
Grateful to hear that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, and I hope you will be able to link me to Imran Garda, who is not with you, or Andres, that lady Andres.
Well, the easiest way you can, so Imran is no longer with us anymore, but I believe he's on social media. Perhaps if you write him on social media would be the right way. Hopefully he will respond to you. Likewise, I will deliver your message to Andres Sankey, although I know she has a very tight schedule, but I would deliver your message to her. One of our audience is sending his message to her, and hopefully I'll also respond to you about her response to you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. What can you say about this interview? I hope you have enjoyed it and the style of questioning.
It's as you already mentioned, it's a new platform which you are aiming to be broadcasting on social media, particularly YouTube, Facebook. It's a milestone, but I see the confidence in you. I see the strength in you, and I wish you all the best. I wish you, I would say, more grace to your elbow. You're very, very friendly. You're very, very kind indeed. And you have this ability to grow. So I wish you all the best. And I hope this will impact, will deliver the message to the audience as you want it to be delivered. And Almighty Allah help you.
I mean, thank you very much, Malam Mr. Usman Aliyu Uba, for being on the show. I can't thank you enough. You really have been very kind and generous to be on the show. Thank you very much on behalf of everyone that has contributed to the show. And I have to include my friend Ibrahim, who's your cousin, who has also helped in connecting me to you, and all those that have contributed to the show. I'm Omar Isa Dandugo saying, see you next, and we will hopefully come back with another interesting episode and amazing guests. Goodbye.